Hi again, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Furman Athletics. I am Dan Scott, your host. Good to be with you. It is suddenly starting to get very, very busy here on Furman's campus. Well, I take that back. It's been busy, but now some of that busyness is starting to roll over into actual game competition. And is there any more competitive guy than Aaron Burr? Aaron Burr? How about Andrew Burr?
I'm slightly competitive. I know, yes, slightly competitive.
But that's not a bad thing.
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah. Why don't you slide this way a little bit and kind of center yourself up so the people can see you nice and good. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well. It is. You described it. You described it well in that yes, campus is coming to life again, which is nice. We've been here all summer. We've been preparing for this, but there is something nice about student athletes back on campus. We have women's soccer, men's soccer, volleyball, football. It's just it feels alive again, and there's something nice about early morning training sessions. I hear Coach Hendricks and the football guys on the practice fields with whistles and the music. It feels alive, and as much as we love Furman and the day-to-day operations, there's something about competition and getting to put teams on the field, and that's what we're doing right now. We're into it.
Now, football is practicing. Football is training.
Correct.
Right.
Yes, correct. Training on the pitch is what we're doing.
Yeah,
Dan.
and I still don't know that I got a qualified explanation from Doug Allison before he retired. He probably did that on purpose.
I think you forced him into retirement. You asked him that question too many times. He said, "I'm leaving Furman University now."
Yeah, that's it. Blame the media like they do on everything else. Before we even talk about the team and the season and all of that, how is Andrew Burr and all of the other little Burrs?
We're doing really well. It's funny. I mean, the Burr family grew up on this campus, and it's neat for me to see that they're all now getting older and starting jobs and getting married and all that. So the family's doing very well. As you know, I met my wife here at Furman back in the late 80s. All three of my kids go to Furman. My oldest son, Casey, is getting his master's here at Furman, and he is the coach of the cross-country team at North Greenville University.
Wow.
So all these years of watching me coach, I thought for sure he would go into a different direction, and he got suckered into becoming a college coach. So he's doing great, just got married. Jeremy's going to be a senior. Sophie's going to be a junior. But yeah, family's doing great, and we are so blessed, and things are going well for the Burr family.
And meanwhile, beginning year 22 at the helm of this program.
Seems like a long time, although this time of year it feels like it's like yesterday. And I remember Brian Lee and I started this program in 1995 together, and it was a club sport before then. And they said we're going to have a Division I college soccer team, and Brian Lee was the head coach. I was an assistant coach. I was helping him get uniforms, and then you blink your eye and it's 25 years later and still doing it and absolutely loving it.
Well, and you need to love it because we know that the landscape is more challenging than ever before in Division I college athletics, and here at Furman we're not immune to some of the craziness that's going on around the country and even around the conference, but you maintain, every time I see you, a smile on your face.
It is a great job, and we talk about it with our team all the time. This isn't a have-to job. I get to do this. I get to come here every day, and yes, there are challenges as you look at the NCAA landscape. You look at universities like a Furman that's going to prioritize true student athletes, and that is wonderful. And I don't want it any other way. But that presents a challenge when you're trying to get the absolute best athletes to compete at the highest level. We have to navigate it just a little bit more at Furman. And again, I wouldn't want to trade that because we're getting well-rounded student athletes. But yeah, the obstacles are significant, and the NCAA and Power Four, the direction that they're going in is completely different than what the true intention of what being a student athlete and that student athlete experience, in my opinion, is supposed to be all about. And as a mid-major, we gotta play catch up as quickly as we can, but it's a tough gap right now.
And really across all sports, even in the Southern Conference, we see kind of a mini version of that playing out with the public schools and the private schools that comprise the conference. And, you've got Tennessee Tech added to the mix, and we know what they did with their football program a year ago. So the challenges, I suppose, are not unique to just the big schools, because we have seen them trickle down and manifest themselves in this conference as well. And yet your job is to continue to do what you do, and that's turn out high-quality people. Yeah, you want to win as many games as possible, but there is an overarching experience that you want to deliver, right?
Yeah, and I think as I reflect back on our career, and I say our career, my career, April Raymer, associate head coach who's been with me forever, when we reflect back on previous years, very rarely are we describing teams and saying, oh, remember when we beat Clemson 2-1 or whatever it was. Those were some good memories. For the most part, we talk about former players and what they're doing now, and married, jobs, starting companies, starting businesses, starting families. I mean, that's what we end up talking about, and that's what excites us. Mm-hmm. So wins and losses, yes, and winning is really, really enjoyable. We win a good bit, which is fun. But the true memories and the reason why we coach is because we want relationships, we want connections. And I think we're giving these student athletes a really good experience. And I say we, Furman University.
Right.
And that's, I'm looking at Bob Ritchie and Clay Hendricks and Michelle Young, and we're all trying to provide a good experience for these student athletes.
Well, the women's soccer team plays its home opener on Tuesday. We're recording this and dropping it on Monday, so tomorrow night or whenever you watch it, it's the home opener is with North Greenville at 7 o'clock here at Stone Stadium. So we'll talk more about that in a moment. You have played an exhibition at Clemson already, and you opened your regular season at Charlotte with a 2-1 loss just a handful of days ago. What have you learned about this particular version of Furman women's soccer through the preseason so far, your scrimmage, or your exhibition, I should say, and your first regular season game?
We have learned a lot, and preseason is great, and 2 days are wonderful. They're exhausting, but they're wonderful. But you don't truly get a feel for your team and your individual players until you play against other teams. You got to bring in outside competition. So we hosted Clemson last Saturday. Had over 1,000 people to an exhibition match, and we don't have students on campus yet. We had over 1,000 people. It was awesome. It was awesome for the first 12 minutes, and there was a lightning delay for 2 hours. That didn't help a whole lot. But Clemson is very good. They'll be a top 20 team in the country, and they exposed a lot of our weaknesses, and that was good for us. We needed to see that. So in hindsight, wish we could have gotten a second exhibition game in, just because I think there is a pretty big learning curve. We played against UNC Charlotte. We gave up an own goal, and we gave up a penalty kick with 10 minutes to play to lose 2-1. But at one point, and I'm looking at the coaching staff during the game, we had our back four on the field. That back four last year, in terms of logged minutes, 0 minutes logged. We had 3 freshmen, and then Sarah Sexton, who was coming off an ACL injury, who did not play for us last year. So that's throwing them into the fire. That's putting them in a really difficult situation, and it might not have been the best for the result of that game, but I think it was the best decision for the result of the overall season. How do I get these freshmen to grow up quickly? And they learned a lot from that game against UNC Charlotte. So the upside is there. I think we are going to get significantly better because we are young. We have some freshmen. We have 8 freshmen that came in, and all of them are going to fight for playing time. So we need to get them some experience to figure out what our strengths and weaknesses are.
Having said that, if you have that many young people who are going to be fighting for playing time, it behooves you to have some experience and some leadership on the field. Who steps into that role?
Does it ever? So Ellie Herman is our captain. She is just rock solid. 5th year. She graduated early. She's getting her master's at Furman as we speak. So she is just, talk about your typical perfect student athlete. She is just it. She overachieves in the classroom, overachieves on the soccer field. This young lady is going to overachieve in life. So she is a wonderful leader. Our 2 captains were Ellie and Ava King. Ava's from Florida, just a gifted athlete. She got hurt in the first 90 seconds of the game against Clemson. So that's been a little bit of a cloud hanging over the team right now. Losing a player like Ava, who is a captain, natural leader, leads by example, one of those 90-minute players that never complains, just does her job, does it really well. So trying to replace her is not going to happen. She is just too good of a person, too good of a leader. But I'm seeing some other players now step up. We have a goalkeeper. Reese de Jong has just stepped up so well, and I think she's just got some natural leadership skills. So I think we're in a really good spot. But unfortunately, you talk about a little bit of friction and a trial that you go through. Losing your senior captain 90 seconds into the season is really tough. So we'll overcome that. We'll figure it out. But that's what I'm looking at for leadership.
And the old coach speak angle on that is that one person's misfortune is another person's opportunity, and that's up to you to figure out who's going to get that opportunity. And it's up for them to decide, hey, I want to take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. We that's fun. I mean, we said the exact same comment to our players and our freshmen in particular. Opportunity versus outcome. You will get an opportunity, but you control the outcome.
Right.
What are you going to do with this opportunity? And this is an opportunity that might not come along again. This is an injury that's taken place that we need to make some adjustments. What is the outcome going to be? That's up for you to decide. But yeah, we've had some players certainly embrace that so far. And, we had to start and play significant freshmen against Charlotte because of that. And I think the outcome was positive. Some players really stepped up.
Visiting with Andrew Burr as we talk Furman women's soccer here on this week's edition of Inside Furman Athletics. Tell me about one of your freshmen, Marley Nagel, got her first collegiate goal against Charlotte.
Really excited for Marley. We have a really nice freshman class. Marley comes to us from Charleston, just a gifted athlete. She does some things really well, and getting in the final third and creating chances is one of those. And, she and I talked actually during preseason. I said, there's some things you do really well. Let's emphasize those things. I think sometimes freshmen come in and they see this style of play and they see some very technical players and they're trying to mirror what other people are doing. And sometimes with these freshmen, we got to say, hey, what do you do well? Then let's emphasize that. So that's what she does well. And she had one chance and she finished it. It was a great goal. So I was super pleased with her performance. Jaden Irby is another freshman. She's local from Eastside High School, but Jaden Irby started at center back for us as a freshman, and she was just so solid. When I describe her just with calm confidence. She's like, yep, I've got this. So I was really impressed with her. We've had a number of freshmen that have stepped up and played significant minutes already and done very well. We've had a couple of transfers that have come in, same situation. So I thought we were very good last year. We lost kind of, 2 or so starters from last year, but with 8 freshmen and 3 transfers coming in last spring, we are going to look a little bit different this year. And I think we're going to be deeper than we've ever been. And again, having this freshman class come in fit, ready to play is going to make a huge difference for us.
You were 10-4-5 overall last year, 3-2-4 in SoCon play, and obviously everything you do in the preseason is gearing you towards getting ready for conference play and winning a conference tournament and getting back to the NCAAs. So let's talk about this league as you look at the other teams in this league. Who stands out? Who's going to be the folks who you're going to be chasing or are going to be chasing you?
Yep. And it's the strength of the Southern Conference right now, especially in women's soccer, in all sports. But adding Tennessee Tech, and that's just another program that's going to be very competitive. I think they won their conference last year. We got 11 teams now, very different. On the men's side, I think there's probably 5 or 6 teams in the Southern Conference. So the conference looks very different between like men's soccer and women's soccer. The preseason rankings came out. Sanford was picked number 1, which is well deserved. They just each year they just bring in more and more talent. They get some very high-end transfers from the SEC to come in. So they were picked number 1, and there wasn't even a doubt on that one. The Furman Paladins were picked in the 2nd spot, which again, second spot out of 11 is fairly impressive. I think our funding as a soccer program is probably around 7th or 8th in the conference. So if we're funded to be the 7th or 8th and we're the 2nd, I think that's overachieving, and we will certainly take that. But it's interesting. Sanford obviously is the clear favorite. Honored that we were picked number 2, but really the the middle group here is just so deep, and it could be anybody. And all these teams are so strong. Western has been very good these last several years. ETSU is very good. Chat has been great. Mercer has been great. Then you got some teams like a Wofford who have a new coach. Kevin Dempsey came in last year. Kevin and I used to coach against each other when I was obviously at Furman. He was at the College of Charleston back when Charleston was in the Southern Conference. Kevin's done an amazing job with Wofford. So, I mean, you're looking at these schools now, and there's 10 teams all fighting to chase Sanford right now. And on any given day, any of these 10 teams could actually beat Sanford. So it's a really deep conference, which makes it exciting for us.
Well, getting you to that is a non-conference schedule that began with Charlotte, the home opener with North Greenville tomorrow. We'll talk about that. You go to South Carolina, and you got 3 consecutive home games, August 28th, 30th, and September 3rd. Bob Jones, UNC Asheville, Presbyterian, at Charleston Southern, and then 2 more, actually 3 consecutive home games. The first 2 end your non-conference season, USC Upstate and Davidson, before you open SoCon play with Wofford here on the 17th of September. If I ask you this question and you say no, you have nobody to blame but yourself, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you like your non-conference schedule?
I do. Obviously, having Clemson as an exhibition and then going to South Carolina, that's going to be a handful. And that's a great experience for us. For us to...
But that's by design, right?
That is by design. For us to compete, for us to be able to win a SoCon championship, we've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable with teams that are very athletic, that are going to run at us, and playing a Clemson, playing a South Carolina certainly creates that. We played at South Carolina 2 years ago. They came to us last year. 2 years ago, we went to them right around the same time of year. I think they had 6,500 people at the game. I mean, it was packed, and that is great for our players to be in that environment. Let's get them a little bit uncomfortable, meaning my players, our team. I like for them to be uncomfortable. I like for them to deal with adversity, deal with athletic players. So it is by design, and I think it's going to prepare us. A lot of home games, and that's for you, Dan. You know, I know you like to stay somewhat local. You can come see home games. We got home game after home game after home game. I've got a spot in the front row for you.
Is there air conditioning?
We will make that happen for you,
Okay.
Dan. I can make that happen. But yeah, a lot of home games, beautiful stadium. We just got a wonderful upgrade. We just installed a new video board. Don't tell Clay Hendricks, but I think I'm looking out the window here. I think our video board might be bigger than football's video board. Don't want to brag, but there's a chance that it is bigger. But yeah, the stadium is in great shape right now. We're excited to have some people come out and support us this year.
So, in your experience, knowing what college athletics was versus what it is now, and knowing that ultimately people are going to judge you by wins and losses because that's the nature of the business, what will you consider to be a successful season this year?
So we sat down last week and we did a little team building exercise where we list kind of team goals. And at the end of the day, I'm a leader, I'm an organizer, but I've got a group and they're going to determine the direction. I'm going to set up some guardrails and help keep them on track. But they came up with some goals for the season, and we do some small group stuff and come together as a group and we share our team goals and we make a decision on what do we feel is realistic. Southern Conference regular season champions, Southern Conference tournament champions, and a goal of ours is to win a first round NCAA tournament game. We have been to, and I don't know this number, 8, 9, maybe 10 NCAA tournaments, and we haven't won a game in the NCAA tournament. So, in fairness, I'm not sure many Southern Conference teams ever have won.
Right.
So it's not just us. We're the one going the most often. So that's what we have set. So that for me and for our team, that is our goal, and that's what we are aimed towards. But then also love that as I look at this list of goals that our team has put together, it's represent Furman University well in the classroom, in the community. One of our goals is leave it better than you found it.
Right.
So when we go to visiting teams' locker rooms, we clean up the locker room, leave it better. When we're in the dining hall, we clear our stuff, and if we see somebody who hasn't cleared their plates, we clear it for them. Little things like that, which I got to tell you, makes me incredibly proud that they're coming up with stuff like this, because that shows you what types of players we're recruiting to be at this university.
And at the same time, it's that kind of attitude that ultimately allows them to leave the program better than they found it when they graduate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. I think we talk about that is what is this program going to look like 4 years from now when you graduate? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? Is it going to have a better reputation, a worse reputation? So I think my players take that challenge, that 4-year challenge, pretty seriously.
How are you guys handling the current heat band that's been on top of us for the last month or so?
It has been a lot, and I laugh. So I see Michelle Young. We have lunch pretty often, and she's got this air conditioning. She's always inside. She's the volleyball coach.
Right.
The sun's never out. It's never raining. I'm like, I picked an outdoor sport, probably a mistake, but it has been very warm. But again, our players fight through it. Taylor Dadian's our trainer. She talks about the wet bulb, which I think is fun to say. I don't exactly know what the wet bulb is, but she talks about this wet bulb and what level is it at and when do we need to do hydration breaks. But it has been a lot, and we are certainly mindful that player safety is our number one concern. And it's funny, I was talking to Clay about it a little bit. Just things have changed so much, and Clay was talking about when he was playing football here, and we had 2-a-days, sometimes 3-a-days, and it was just go, go, go. And that process is just it isn't what we do anymore, and it makes sense why we don't do it. So even though we are doing some 2-a-days, we're mindful. We're going at 8 a.m. in the morning. We're able to navigate the weather pretty well.
Right. Well, and at least it's not like you were over 22 years ago when you were out here not only playing soccer but also playing football. Although as a kicker, wearing pads didn't really affect you like the other guys.
So Spear was our equipment manager back in the early 90s for football, and he tried to get me fitted for pads, and none of the pads would fit. So he sent me up to First Team Sports and said, go talk to whoever it is. They've got like a youth section for youth pads. I probably shouldn't be telling you this story.
Oh, I love it. No, you've started. You got to finish it.
So my first set of pads as a Division I college kicker were all youth sizes. So it was just.
See, I thought it was going to be the plastic stuff like the football uniform I got for Christmas as a 7-year-old. The plastic helmet, the little fake shoulder pads, and stuff like that.
Yep, came with the plastic helmet that you could use for the trick or treating, and they
right.
would. No, it was similar to that. But those were some good times, and I'm always, again, so excited about this time of year because it's the soccers are getting started, the football's getting started. It is a fun time to be at Furman University.
Being in your 22nd year as a head coach now, so you've been around long enough where you can start to answer generational questions. Have kids changed?
They have not. They have not. I think parents have changed significantly. I think the way we parent these kids have changed significantly, and I think we get into that mindset of 3 days. We did 3 days. We just toughed it out. We did this and we did that. But if you look at current athletes today versus athletes of 25, 30 years ago, these kids are doing something right. They are more athletic. They can jump higher. They can run faster. They are bigger, stronger. I mean, so something is working. In a sport like ours, I can see it. In a sport like, with the Garys, with cross country, and you can see it. You can see the times.
Right.
I mean, we've got multiple kids on Furman's roster right now. They're running sub 4-minute miles.
Right.
Well, 30 years ago, that wasn't happening. So something is working. Something is working. I do feel that COVID and the lockdowns and all the baggage that brought on, which was incredibly unfortunate. Some of those kids, I think, are still struggling with some of the basics, which is, okay, Dan, we're going to ask you to stand in front of the team today, and you're going to talk about your childhood and being able to interact with other people and have a conversation. So I see it on that front more.
And these things don't help either.
It doesn't help at all.
We have come to a 280 character society.
Yep. It is, and we are seeing that. I see that with recruits. Now I think once they get into this environment, we are very relationship. We're very intentional. We don't have a lot of phone rules on our team by design because our kids never have them out.
Right.
They just know that when you're with this team, this is your team. This is what you're focused on. And you can't be focused on a team and winning a Southern Conference championship and also focused on whatever else is the noise that's going on that you're getting through your phone. So that's the biggest difference I think I'm seeing with these athletes.
Well, it's good to see then that you've not progressed to the point that Tom and I get to sometimes during the Greenville Drive broadcast, and we're watching what's happening and wondering what's happened to professional baseball. And I'll then put up a photo of Stadler and Waldorf from the Muppet Show, the two old men who are complaining about everything.
Yep.
You haven't gotten there yet.
I'm awfully close.
Are you really?
Awfully close, yeah.
So you and Doug would make a good Stadler
Yes.
and Waldorf.
Yes, we would. Yes, we would.
All right, tell me about Tuesday night, tomorrow night as we're recording this, home opener against North Greenville.
Yeah, love for people to come out. I mean, this is, again, intentional. I think community is incredibly important. If we can play teams locally, I think that's really important. North Greenville will travel well. They'll have a good supporter base. If we can do things that a little more local, that creates community, that embraces what we're doing here in Greenville from a soccer standpoint, so whether it's Furman University Soccer, North Greenville University, whether it's CISA, whether it's the Greenville Triumph, who played their home games here at the football stadium last year. There's a really nice soccer community, so that's a big part of the game for tomorrow night. But yeah, I think it's going to be a nice style of play. Hopefully you'll see a lot of goals. You'll see two teams working hard. So yeah, we'd love to have people come support us tomorrow night.
Yeah, 7 o'clock at Stone Stadium. If you can't make it, you can follow along at FurmanPaladins.com. Just navigate to the women's soccer page, and there on the schedule will tell you how you can keep up with everything that's happening. It is always good to keep up with you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for what you do for Furman Athletics.
Well, let's hope that tomorrow is the beginning of a long winning streak, and we'll see what transpires.
Let's go with that.
You like that?
Yes, it's official. Let's go with that.
All right, if it happens, I want residuals. That is this week's edition of Inside Furman Athletics. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back again next week. Until then, for Andrew Burr and all of us here at Furman, I'm Dan Scott. God bless you, and so long, everybody.